Welcome to the Grow Your Law Firm podcast, brought to you by Pilma. This podcast helps lead lawyers to more growth, profit, and freedom. Here is your legal marketing expert and host, Ken Hardison.
Hey, Grow Your Law Firm listeners. This is Gracie House with Pilma. If you're serious about growing your law firm this year, you need to be at Pilma's 2026 Summit. This is 3.5 days of deep dive content on marketing, management, and AI built specifically for personal injury law firms. We're talking our biggest agenda ever with dedicated tracks for law firm owners, COOs, intake teams, marketing, and AI implementation. So whether you're scaling your firm or leveling up your team, there's something here for you. And because you're a Grow Your Law Firm listener, we've got a special offer. Use code 26SSGROW at checkout to get 10% off your registration, specifically for Grow Your Law Firm listeners. You can grab the link and code right below in the show notes. Spots are filling up fast, so don't wait. Grab your ticket and we'll see you at the summit.
Hey, it's Jenna, Membership Growth Advisor with Pilma. If you're serious about growing your law firm this year, don't miss your chance to book a free law firm growth strategy session with me. We'll break down what's holding you back, identify the biggest opportunities in your firm, and map out the next steps to accelerate your growth. No pressure, just real strategy and direction tailored to you. Click the link in the show notes to schedule your free session.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Grow Your Law Firm. And today we have the honor and privilege of having Stuart Foster, a fractional CMO, talk to us today. Stuart, thank you for being on the show, man.
Always a pleasure to be with you, Ken. Enjoy it.
All right. So tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and your company and what it does, and then we'll get into some really good stuff about what's going on, what's new.
Yeah, we are marketing transformation experts. We have a business called Firm Fractional CMOs, and we work with law firms to transform their marketing engine into a growth engine. And we do that by doing two things. We provide marketing leadership into the law firm in the form of a fractional CMO, a CMO who works 30, 40% of their time for one law firm. And we combine that expertise of that fractional CMO with an approach, kind of a roadmap, a strategy on how to extract the best strategy, marketing strategy for that law firm. So our proven approach has led to really unprecedented growth. You know, we've worked with dozens of law firms now, and we're continuing to add more. And it's really exciting because I think by and large, marketing in the law firm space is antiquated. And so we think we're here to bring some newness and a new way to do it, and a way that is customized for each law firm, not cookie cutter.
Well, I think, it's so complicated now, Stuart. I mean, it's not like it was when I first started. You had TV, radio, billboards, yellow pages. I mean, That was it. You had no social media. You had no platform ads. You had no OTT, no streaming. You had 4 TV stations, and you didn't have pay-per-click or even internet. It's got so complicated, and there's so many messages out there from so many people I just think it's harder to get people to raise their hand, and do something. So tell me why you think it's antiquated, and what are you thinking lawyers?
Well, I think you just hit the nail on the head. I mean, the number of firms that I talk to that are still deploying largely traditional media, broadcast TV and billboards, supplemented by PPC and LSAs, and an SEO agency putting content on their website. That's their marketing engine. That design is 20 years old, okay? And you mentioned some of the new ones that are coming in. If paid leads or referrals is your number one source of cases today, you have an antiquated marketing engine. Your number one source of signed cases should be organic search. It should be. And the reason it's not for most law firms is because they don't understand how to get after it. And AI is fundamentally changing the way people find information, find service providers, find attorneys. And it's changed so much in the last month, let alone 3 months, let alone 6 months. If you have an SEO strategy that was designed more than a year ago, it's antiquated. You're not responding to what's changing in the market. There's been a huge shift the real big shift is since May of 2024, when Google introduced Gemini. Think about this stat. Since May of 2024, searches on Google have grown by 49%. So impressions, number of people searching for things, 49%. You know what click-through rates have done against that? They've declined by 30%. More people searching, fewer people clicking. Why? What's caused this behavior? The fundamental shift is the AI summaries. People are finding what they need and not clicking through to a website. 16% of people click on an organic search result. So if you end up with an organic search result, you can roughly expect about 16% click-through rate. Pages that have AI overviews, 26% click-through. So you're getting people who are finding what they want faster, more accurately, and the consumer's getting really sophisticated about how they're asking questions, right? They're not just asking for a personal injury lawyer near me anymore. They're asking, who's the best personal injury lawyer in West Palm Beach based on reviews, reputation, results? And they get an answer. Then they ask us a follow-up question. Which of these has been sued? Which of these is in the Better Business Bureau? Like, they're doing their research, right? And they're relying on chat and on Gemini to do this. And this trend is called zero-click search. We believe this is the future of where search is going. Now, Google still has, you can take different reports, Google still has at least 70% of the market, right? Some people might, I mean, I've seen different numbers, but it's at least 70% of the market. So you've got to work, you have got to show up in Gemini. How you do that is a content game. It is not a paid game. And it is not just your website, it's your brand. How does your brand show up in the digital ecosphere of out there in the internet? So it is largely your website, but it is also your reviews. It is, and people don't realize Google scrapes your reviews, right? For content, what people write about you. They're looking at your social media. They're looking at your YouTube content, right? They're looking at articles. They're looking at parts of your website that are referenced in other websites. So all of this interconnectivity of your brand out there in the digital ecosystem is why you need a GEO strategy, not just an SEO, because GEO includes SEO, right? But GEO is generative engine optimization. And you've got to build a strategy for this. You've got to understand how you're performing today. Do you audit your website for GEO? We help clients do that. And then are you building a content strategy that has the right elements of it to show up for whether that's informational searches or transactional searches, because those are very different. And you're right, throwing a lot at you, I get. This is complicated. I actually think marketing, of all the operational aspects of a law firm, is probably the most complicated. Finance, not the most complicated. Important, not the most complicated. Intake, extremely important. And we work with intake, right? Because if you're generating leads and you're building a pipeline, you've also got to make sure you're converting. And
Right.
we find a lot of our clients are not. They think they are, but they're not. Intake, very important, but not as complicated because you're dealing with a captured set already, right? You need good processes, good discipline, good technology to get your intake to be productive. But marketing today, crazy, super complicated. So why are most of the people, and I'm going to put you a little bit on the spot here, Ken, the attorneys that I see at PILMA, right? We were at PILMA AI and we were at PILMA last year at the summit. We'll be there again this year. And I watch these attorneys writing everything down, screenshotting. They come back with 1,000 ideas and they throw it at their team and go, we need to start doing this. And he said we need to be doing that. And this other guy said we should be doing this. And it's kind of like, let me, flip it around to you from a lawyer's perspective. If I want to argue my own case and I'm going to go to a conference and I'm going to use ChatGPT to figure out how I should litigate my own case, I'm not an attorney. How's that going to pan out for me? Not well, right? And so hire an expert, invest in marketing. It will drive growth, but you have to do it in a disciplined, intentional way. Start with a strategy. Don't start with execution. Don't just hire a website agency. Don't just hire, an SEO firm to just start executing. That's random acts of marketing.
Yeah, I agree. I think I tell my marketing team at PILM, I said, well, what's the purpose? Why are we doing this? what's our goal? I mean, because you might have different goals. You might be doing social media, but you might do a different way. One goal might be to get brand, another goal might be to get people to raise their hand direct. You got to figure out what if you're talking about thinking strategically versus just throwing shit up against the wall and hoping it sticks,
Exactly.
because somebody says, "Oh man, this is the newest and latest and greatest." And I agree. I think lawyers are getting so caught up with, and listen, you got to, but the deal is, I think going back to the basics about building relationships and having referral systems and all this. And I think you're right about the AI. I think it's going to be, it's already here, but I think the younger generation are going to be using that more. It's going to be more like a conversation. It's not going to be, like you said, give me a list of all, you're not going to have a list of all these lawyers. You're going to, they
It's not
might
a phone
say,
book anymore,
yeah, yeah,
right?
say
The Google business
yeah,
profile and
yeah,
the search, the map pack is a phone book, right? It's just a digital phone book. But I heard this from a SEO agency yesterday. They said, "Oh, we were vetting them for their GEO capabilities, which unfortunately we're lacking." But they said, "Oh, it's just that its search is more conversational now." And I said, "You're going to be a dinosaur very quickly, right? You're going to be extinct if you don't get on board with GEO." And what we're advising our clients to do, and a lot of this is new. I'm not going to beat around the bush here. We're learning as fast as we can. We're actually using AI tools to learn, right? It allows our CMOs to learn. There's the science and the AI aspect of what we can, like, we have a tool that we can audit websites, right? We audit websites for functionality, for SEO, for all the technical things in the background, with backlinks, broken, toxic, right? Meta tags missing, image tags, incomplete, inconsistent headers, bad breadcrumbs, all these things, right? This is all the technical stuff behind the website. But if you don't have someone who understands what that audit means and what it takes to go fix it, and was it fixed right, and AI is not yet there doing that, you still need humans to do this. You need experienced humans to implement some of these strategies. So there's not everything is going to switch to an AI tool. AI tools become enablers, right? But it's exciting. Like, our tool creates content now, right? We create SEO articles. Perfect headline length, 155 characters or less. Perfect structure, listicles embedded, backlinks established, and the links are there. Cross links are in the article. It generates the image in the brand lens. It looks like your brand. If it's in Florida, it creates palm trees outside the window, things like that. And so this tool, it's not perfect. It has to be checked. It has to be verified, but it's it's enabling our CMOs to be effective on day one. What used to take months to figure out keyword strategy, analyze the data, you can use tools now to do this in nanoseconds, right? And so
yeah,
we're able to put up content and start ranking in as little as 60 days. That's a game changer now in the world of SEO. Why was SEO the long game? All the agencies would tell you it's a long game. Trust the process. It takes time. It took time because there was trial and error involved. Sometimes they got it right, maybe not 100% the first time, then they improved it, and then they improved it more because you were using humans. Now we can use, that's just one example, but you can be more effective and more efficient really quickly. It's
yeah.
exciting.
So are you using AI or is some tool that you can use with like your analytics to get us handle on what's working and not working, or whether or not you need to change, tweak this, whatever?
It's
Or
exactly it. We launched it actually at Pilma AI. It's called RankNav.ai. It's eight AI tools that are brought together, analyzes your entire website across 6 areas, and it provides our CMOs with an output of all the things that are wrong, all the things that are broken, why your website is either not performing or being penalized by AI search. And then it actually gives our CMOs a roadmap. All right, items 1 through 5 are a priority. Here's exactly what you need to do to fix them. So our CMOs can sit down with the webmaster, the web agency, and go, all right, we're going to prioritize these 5 things. Then we're going to go to 6 through 10. Then we're going to go 10 through 20. And we prioritize based on quick, of fast, how fast can you implement and the greatest amount of impact. Those are the priorities. So it actually does that for us. It analyzes keyword gaps in a market. This is the kind of work that agencies would take weeks, if not months to do. They use SEMrush, they use some other tools. Part of the database, part of our tool taps into the same database of SEMrush. So we're using a lot of the same data, but we're doing it in a way that's a little different. And so it's giving us a prioritized list of opportunities based on the positioning of the firm, right? So it's not just keywords of the market. It's if you're positioning, if you are the truck accident expert in Texas, then these are the things you should be doing. If you're the hammer, right? We've got our friends who are the hammers, right? Then these are the things you should be doing. And so it can create that. And then of course it can actually create the content. So if you're not using a tool like this, I haven't seen others that are as comprehensive as the one we have, as comprehensive as RankNav. But if you're not using a tool like this to audit your website, you're behind the times. Now, do you use the tool to create content? The first question I get from everybody as well is Google going to ding you because it knows it's AI created content? So far, that hasn't proven the case. Will Google get more sophisticated? Maybe. But because it's creating it's not just like a Chat GPT generated article. It has 8 different engines that are creating different parts of it. And at the end of the day, the web agency still has to create the page and upload it. So you're not cutting and pasting, but it's giving you the outline, it's giving you the words, it's giving you the content, the images, and you still have to create the page. And so Google sees the page and doesn't see the AI output that created this. So far, we're seeing really, really great success with RankNav.
So the tool is the tool something you created, or is it something you just used that's out on the market?
We did not create it. It is not out on the market. We have partnered with the developers of it. So we're the exclusive partners in the legal space. 2 of the developers on it helped build Gemini at Google. They were Google engineers. So they built it in mind with how does Gemini think? How does it work? Now, we know Google loves to change their algorithm.
Right.
Gemini will continue to change, right? Do you know why Reddit is so important to ChatGPT? Everyone talks about Reddit becoming important. No one talks about why. Sam Altman owns Reddit. Call me a conspiracy theory, but why has Reddit all of a sudden become so important? Because it's built into ChatGPT to be that way. But my point is the algorithm of Google, of Gemini will change. It will change faster and faster and quicker to quicker. There will no longer be these like staged algorithm updates the way we had with just Google search. It's going to happen in nanoseconds. And we have to keep up with it. We have to keep trying to keep up with it. So this is a cutting edge tool right now. And our job is to keep it cutting edge and keep learning from it. But, I mentioned to you that I was disappointed when you go to some of these conferences, people are they're talking about SEO like it's 2022. I mean, that is so far in the past. You might as well be 30 years in the past. You mentioned OTT. OTT is a 15-year-old concept of television. It's connected TV today. You can actually target individual households with ads based on their search behavior. And there's several platforms that do it. We prefer one. We have a second we also use. But I can put an ad, Ken, on your television and not your neighbor's based on how you search.
Yeah, YouTube TV.
And not just YouTube. I can put it on any streaming. I can put it on cable news. I can put it on cable sports.
Yeah, but it's YouTube TV.
No. It's not you. This isn't YouTube TV. It's a different platform that places ads agnostically across YouTube TV, Hulu, Netflix, any of those that support ads, right? So they're not going into the non-ad supported, but it's also getting into NBC, cable. And so if you're buying broadcast TV today, I tell this all the time to prospectives, you're wasting somewhere between 70 and 100% of those dollars. It's mind-boggling that we have people out there that are still buying broadcast. And they always tell me they're getting a great deal. Great. I know the guy. He gives me a great deal. I know the agency. I've been working with them for 10 years. They create my TV ads. They buy the media. They give me bonus. Well, the reason they give you bonus inventory is because A, they can't sell that inventory. That's why they're giving it away. And two, they're probably giving it to you because they feel guilty of what they're charging you and they want you to feel like you're getting more. Connected TV is the future of retargeting in the law firm space. It's one of the touch points. Think about how you shop on Amazon, and the next thing you know, you've got your Instagram feed is full of that brand and all of its competitors, right? Happened to me with golf shoes the other day. Shopping for golf shoes. Next thing I know, I've got Tiger Woods brand, I've got FootJoy, I've got G4, I got all these brands, and they're hitting me with ads because I just was searching for golf shoes on the internet, right? Everyone knows you can do that on social media, but you can also do it on websites, right? I can put ads on your browser. I can also put ads on your television, and I can put ads in your car radio if it's a streaming service with ads. So you got to hit people with, retargeting is an important piece of the marketing mix of law firms, and it's absent from, I'm going to venture 50 to 70% of the law firms don't do any retargeting. They do broad,
Yeah.
bullhorn media, and they're wasting money. So our job as fractional CMOs is to come in, we assess and audit everything you're doing. We're looking at where you get your cases, what kind of cases you're not getting that you want, right? We look at your intake. We look at your PPC. We look at your website. We run the audit, the rank nav audit, but we also look at where you're spending your money and what's that mix. And undoubtedly, in the majority of the firms that we look at, the biggest waste of money is in broadcast TV. And I would say over-reliance on PPC and LSAs as a linear growth model, where it's a diminishing return model. The more you spend, the less you're going to get. And so you need someone who understands all of this complicated stuff. You need a marketing leader, an experienced one. And a lot of the marketing leaders I meet in existing firms, they were admins, they were doing community, buying swag and setting up events. They're not experienced at a digital first marketing world. They don't have 20 years experience building digital marketing engines for businesses. That's what we do.
So if somebody wants to get up with you, what's the best way to do that, Stuart?
Very easy. You can learn about the RankNav tool. It's ranknav.ai, but our law firm website is lawfirm-cmo.com. You can Google us, ChatGPT us. You'll find us, Law Firm Fractional CMOs, and the URL is lawfirm-cmo.com. Or call me, 917-348-1231. That'll be on the script in here. Happy for anyone to call me. We love helping businesses grow, and that's our business model.
That's good. Well, I find this fascinating. I mean, it's changed so much from when I started. And I think you got to get on board or either be left out. As that prime minister from Canada says, you can either come to the table or you'll be on the menu.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. Well, and the competition is heating up, right? I mean, the number of firms that are now venturing into new states, right? You've got driven by maybe tort reform, right? I don't want to be totally reliant on this state because I'm fearing that when the tort reform comes, so I want to go into that state. Or everybody wants to be in Denver now, right? As just an example, right? And I call them the carpetbaggers. You can appreciate that, right? So everyone wants to grow. Look, PI is a lucrative business, right? It's very profitable for most firms. Growing is not hard, but a lot of people are frustrated with lack of growth from their current efforts. And undoubtedly what we find is that they're deploying that 20-year-old model. Traditional media, so they haven't updated their model. They keep firing an agency. Someone says, what do you think of this agency? We all know, the top 5, 6, 10 players, right? Say, well, what do you think about his agency? Well, what do you think about his agency? And I said, I can tell you 10 people who love his agency, and I can find 10 people who fired them. And I said, the issue generally isn't the agency. The issue is the management of the agency, holding them accountable, but also making clear expectations of what they're supposed to be delivering and what they're supposed to be achieving. And unfortunately, they stand behind things like, well, we drove traffic to your website. We sold you X number of impressions. We got you so many clicks. These are performance indicators. People forget what a KPI actually means. It's an indicator of performance. It is not the performance. You know what's the measure of performance? There's only one.
Sign case.
Bingo.
That's the biggest one that I want to know. That's my
It's
biggest.
the only one. It's the only one.
Yeah.
And so when we sign clients, I tell them, measure us on one thing, sign cases per month. We're going to set, you're at A today, you want to get to B. We're going to have a conversation about what's that delta? How big is that? Is that 20% higher? Is that 100% higher? Is that 300% higher? How long? How long is it going to take? And what level of investment? You can't double your business and spend $25,000 a month. Likewise, you shouldn't be spending $300,000 a month, as some firms are, and getting 40 cases a month of MBAs. So sign cases per month is the business objective. And so you've got to separate KPIs, there's a lot of KPIs, and I mentioned 3 of them. And there's a lot, click-through rates, cost per case, cost of acquisition, all these, you got to measure all of this, but they're indicators of performance. They are not the performance. So you use them to measure, are you on the right track to achieve results? And what we focus on, only one KPI, sign cases per month. If you want to grow that, talk to us.
Makes sense to me.
It's a new world out there. And, I love chatting about this. I wish there was, sometimes more opportunities to get in front of people and share with them that this is moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Well, hopefully this will help you because we get about 8,000 downloads a week. So
your podcasts have always been great for us to get this message out. So, and we'll be at PILMA.
Yep, it's May the 21st through the 23rd in San Antonio. Yeah,
we will be there, and I think it's a great growth mindset conference. I think people are getting conference fatigue a little bit. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, I agree.
There's some that are waning and some that are rising. And for those of us who are vendors to the law firm community, we're constantly evaluating. For us, are people energized? Are they learning? Is there increased momentum? Is there a good congregation of the right smart people there? Those are the ones we're going to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to as many. I spoke at a lot year before last. Last year, I didn't speak at as many because the numbers are down. I will say this, and this is not bragging, but our numbers were up last year for our conference. And I was surprised because every other conference I went to, the numbers were down, maybe some a lot, some a little bit. And I expected ours to dip too because of fatigue. We were lucky. So we'll see if we can't get some more people.
I think I hear, look, I'm not blowing sunshine, but PILMA has been a good conference in the past and has delivered good value to both attorneys and to the vendors who are there. That's how people are measuring it, right? So continue to hear positive things about the upcoming, and your job is to deliver, right? So that's
it.
That's on you. I think you'll get a good crowd to San Antonio.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Take care, and I will see you in San Antonio. Until next time, this is Ken Hardison, dedicated to your success. Take care.
You have been listening to the Grow Your Law Firm podcast, the podcast that leads lawyers to more growth, profit, and freedom. Go to growyourlawfirm.com to find more ways to market and manage your law firm. Please leave us a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcasts.